Welcome, ladies, to SisterLand Investors. Today we have a woman who is redefining what it means to build a legacy. She is the CEO of Residential Assisted Living Academy, a two-time best-selling author and the leading voice for the Silver Tsunami. I love that title in real estate. But beyond the accolades, she is a daughter who stepped up to lead a family empire and a visionary who understands exactly what her community stands for. Isabel, our ladies are professional women and mom investors who are tired of the slow burn of traditional rentals. They're hungry for impact. They're protective of their time, and they want to build something that matters. You're the master of doing good and well simultaneously. Isabel Guarino, welcome to SisterLand Investors.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about what brought you here for those that don't know you.
Yeah. Well, we started investing in the senior housing space because my own grandmother fell, broke her hip. She needed assisted living. And we were searching for options that felt comfortable, that we were proud to have her in. And nothing was fitting the bill. I mean, everything was horrible that was out there. And as women, this duty falls a lot of times to us, right? Not just
Exactly.
raising the kids, but what happens when mom or dad now needs that support again? And so, my dad had been a real estate investor for 30 plus years to that point, and he did quick math and he's like, wait, 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 wait. We're going to pay $5,000 a month for her to live in one of these homes, or we could buy one, have her live for free, and we could be cash flowing. And so it just made a lot of sense for us to get involved because of that personal family need. And that's really kind of where it all began, is just that family need of who's going to care for mom when you can't maybe afford or don't want to quit your job and go take care of your loved one full time, but you need that quality option for them.
I love that. So help us figure out how do you find these homes? A lot of moms own other homes or multifamily homes.
Yep.
Or they have college kids that have 3 or 4 bedrooms or even larger. What is it that they need to have this?
So a residential assisted living home, depending on where it is located in the US, because we teach nationally, we have, students all over the US who own and operate these care homes. You're allowed to have somewhere between 6 and 16 seniors in the home. So think large, luxury, upscale, beautiful single family homes in really nice parts of town. Maybe something that's already, 5, 6, 7,000 square feet that might not have 10 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, but you can renovate it to be suitable for that need. So if it already has that footprint, that's ideal. But really, what you're looking for before even the nitty gritty on the real estate is just the demographics of the area. You want the care home to be in a market where the majority population is 50 to 70 years old, making 2 times the median income. Typically homeowners, typically college graduate. And that is not the senior moving in, that's the adult child. And they choose where mom or dad goes. So you want to be near them. So that demographics and then kind of, the larger luxury upscale property is definitely what we're looking for.
Oh, I love that. So for the moms that already have rental properties that have maybe 4,000, 6,000 square foot, what would be the next steps for them to say, okay, what do I have to do to make it a residential living? Requirements? What are those?
Yes. So for the home to get licensed through the state, you're going to need to add in more bedrooms and bathrooms, ramps, guardrails, handrails, things to keep the seniors safe. It does not need to be ADA compliant, but you want it as close to that as possible. So wide hallways, wide doorways, like we said, ramps, guardrails, handrails, those things just to really protect our seniors. And then adding more bedrooms and bathrooms. So they'll take that home and make sure that it's in the right location. They'll do their internal feasibility study and then start on those renovations to get the physical home licensed so that they can start this business.
Do you work with specific developers that just focus
On RAL, yeah, we train thousands of people who want all over the country who want to just be on the real estate side, some who want to operate the business and be on the real estate side, which The operations part's about 5 hours a week. So don't think like, oh, I'm wiping bums and it's 24/7 care. No, 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 no. It's 5 hours a week. So we
How
show
is that?
because you're hiring your licensed administrator who's like your property manager in the real estate world, and they're doing all of the marketing and filling the beds, dealing with all the caregivers and the staffing, all the state regulations, all of that. You just own the real estate and the business. And so that's what we show people how to do.
I love that. So, okay. So our ladies, we buy the land. Some of them want to build something like this.
Yeah.
The majority of I'm being selfish. I'm in Texas. So I want to know in Texas, but I guess do you connect us ladies like if we want to learn more about this, do you connect us with people that are established like for example Texas or Florida that could guide us and say this is what you need on
So,
your land to
yeah.
make
So
this home happen?
yeah, there's 4 ways to get started, and one way is custom building, right? So buying the land and custom building from the ground up, and that's one of the 4 ways that we show you how to do it at the Residential Assisted Living Academy. So we've been teaching and training real estate investors and entrepreneurs for the last almost 13 years since
Oh wow.
2013 how to
Wow.
do exactly that. So we don't partner you with someone else. You come to us and we show you what we've shown thousands of people how to do, which is build that home, fill it with the seniors, hire the staff, and cash flow.
Wow. So you walk them through the whole thing.
That's
Y-
exactly what we do.
Give
Yeah.
us numbers. What are we looking at for numbers?
Yeah. So for you in Texas, right? Let me pull up my calculator so we're on the same page. For you in Texas, you're allowed to have 16 seniors in a home. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yes, and average rates for you are going to be about $7,000 per month per senior in the home, which means you're bringing in 112,000 every single month. Now, you don't get to keep all of that, right? Because you got to pay for staff, food, electricity, cable, utilities, you name it. There's a lot of expenses involved in this industry. So let's take out 60,000 a month for those expenses. And then a mortgage on a home that could house 16 people, right? This might be a 2 or $3 million property, especially if you custom built it. It might be 20 or 30 grand a month. Let's just say it's $25,000 a month in the mortgage right there. This one home bringing you in $27,000 every single month. So that's what we show people how to do.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So let me ask you, I have a couple questions that I want to ask you. My reading glasses, give me a second. This is what happens when you're mature, seasoned investor. The tsunami, I like how you worded that. The silver tsunami. You often speak about the silver tsunami for our investors who are currently stuck in traditional single family homes, rentals, or flipping, because there's a lot of women. I mean, that's how I started. And
Yeah.
my husband was like, no more, Elizabeth. We're done with that. Why is our RAL, residential assisted living, the ultimate pivot for women looking to build high cash flow? You
You
kind
know,
of went over it right now, but let's touch
yeah.
base.
I mean, when you think about a traditional single family rental right now, you might be making a couple $100 a month. It's really not a cash flow game. And you know this, you've been in this space. It's really more about how long can I hold that door to get that big payout in 15 years, right? You just got to scrape by being able to pay that mortgage because we all know 5 years down the road, the floor needs repair, the heat breaks, the AC goes out, and there's your profit for the whole
Yeah,
year, if not more. So you can't even use that couple $100 of cash flow because you got to bank it because you know something's going to happen. And so
right.
you're just praying for that big 15, 20-year buyout. That's not cash flow. A lot of people think, well, it's a numbers game. If I get 100 of these at $200 a month, now I'm making money. Okay, each door comes with tenants, toilets, potentially unpaid rent, and drama. 100 of them? That's a lot of drama. We're
Yes,
talking one door that can cash flow you over 20 grand a month. It just far outweighs, single family rentals, even though it's still in the single family space. Now, when it comes to the need, the silver tsunami of seniors, there's 76 million baby boomers coming into this market in the next 5 years. And we're
did you
currently
wait, hold on, did you say 76 million?
76 million baby boomers starting in just 2030 are going to be entering this market. And we are currently 1.3 million beds short. So there is a massive supply and demand issue where we cannot build these beds fast enough. So what happens when there's no beds and mass amounts of seniors who need it, care just continues to go up, up, up. That rate of 7,000 a month in 5 years, 10 years, it will be double that. People will be paying 10 grand plus. A lot already are, right? To put their
Yes.
loved ones in quality assisted living.
I see that. Yes, there are a lot doing that. Okay, I love that tsunami. Okay, the silver tsunami. And you're right, my parents are getting up there. I need to figure that out. Overcoming the care fear.
Yeah.
Many female investors are drawn to the doing good aspect of
Mhm.
RAL, but are terrified of the care side,
Oh.
staffing, liability, medical needs. How can a lady investor sit in the owner's seat without getting bugged down of the caregiver role?
Yeah, it is a problem for my ladies, right? Everybody says, well, I want to be hands on and I want to help the seniors and I want to do all of this. But for you to grow and scale, you can't be bogged down by building yourself a job. And so that's why we focused, over these 13 years on helping people create businesses that set them up for financial freedom, not jobs that trap them in a 24/7 responsibility. That is what a million other people will teach and train you how to do, not me. I'm not your girl for that, right? I am a systemized girl who says, hey, let's get you 3 homes, the cash flow you well, and you're spending 5 hours a week doing them. How do we do that? We create mega amounts of systems around it so that you're not getting called when somebody calls out. You're not involved in tours and marketing and intake. You're not worried about all this stuff because there's a system in place and other people whose job it is. It's starting a business. And that is, a scary thing for some people who've never jumped into that entrepreneur pool. I know many of your
Exactly.
listeners have. So they're like,
Right.
no, I've got that. But it is easy for us as women to get pulled back into the day to day. And so it's really important to build your systems and then rely on them.
I love that. Thank you for that. Okay, I have more questions. I could sit and ask you 1,000 questions, but we won't do that today. The funding and deal structure. This
Yeah.
is where our ladies love to fund and invest and make sure that their money is working for them. For our listeners who are ready to jump in, what is the most creative way you've seen women fund her first real estate or RAL deal? Is it better to buy a real estate and the business together or lease the property first?
So, of the 4 ways, we talked a little bit about buying land and custom building. Another way is buying an existing care home. So, buying the real estate, buying the business, you're up and running, cash flowing day one. Another is leasing, right? You can lease from someone else. All of them work, all of them are totally doable, and they all require their own ways of creative financing. But the cool thing about this industry is that is how most people are getting in. You're not using hard money loans or traditional bank loans. For the most part, you are using private money or syndications. Or my favorite is SBA loans because a small business loan for this type of investment, they cover the cost of the real estate, the cost of the renovation, the carrying cost or reserve capital, the FF&E, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and they pay you as the managing partner all throughout the project. So it's
Oh, wow.
one big lump sum loan that you don't have to pay back for quite some time, has pretty low rates on it. I love SBA for this.
Okay, give us numbers. I want to learn more about that.
Yeah. So an SBA loan, like we said, all of that all in might be, a couple $1 million deal. Typically, our students are taking out anywhere from $2 to $5 million on that loan. And upfront, what you're going to be required to put down is anywhere between 5 to 20%. Now, that can be your money or a partner's money or someone else's money, right?
Yeah,
But that
right.
5 to 20% is quite a range. And so the 5 to 10% peeps are anyone who has a medical background. So whether have some sort of degree or something, you put that in your business plan, that is a shoe in for getting a better percentage on your SBA
Really?
loan.
My background's nursing.
There you go. So that's perfect for this. And then that 10 to 20% is more of your gals like me who no medical background at all, nothing I can even lie about, okay? Maybe a CPR cert.
There you go. They
But
need that.
it is a range, but if you do have that, which plays well to a lot of female investors because many have come from a medical background, or maybe even they're married to, someone who has that as their background. It can be a great way to get even a better rate on your deal right there.
I love that. So do you have private investors or do private investors help you with these deals? And if so, give me the numbers on those.
Yeah, so we do have lists of accredited investors who've come to us over the years who say, "Hey, I want to work with your top tier students who are doing deals, who are, getting stuff done. Put me in touch with them." Now, every deal is going to look different, but they don't typically come with this is what I want to see. Our students come to them with their customized business plans saying, "I'm raising, 5 million and I'm giving, 10% returns on XYZ." So it's really our students who are setting the tone of saying, this is what I'm willing to give out on my deal because investors are excited about this. I mean, this
Of
isn't gold
course.
or coffee beans, it's not crypto, it's our loved ones. Like every
Yeah, and it's
relate.
tangible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I love it. That's why, because I like tangible. This things that I can't see, touch. I don't invest much in that. Okay. So for those that do want to invest, let's say 500 or a million,
Yep.
what are typical returns
It
on
could
the
every deal is different. So it's hard
different?
for me to say, a flat rate, but I've seen anywhere from 8 to 18%. It's a
Okay. I
big
like
range.
That's nice. The fourth question that we have for you. You've done an incredible job scaling your father's legacy. Congrats to you. That's huge because this is why my sister and I started Sisterland because we want to leave it for our kids.
Yeah.
Hopefully they continue it. We'll see. What advice do you have for the mothers in
Hmm.
Sisterland Investors community who want to build a business that their children could actually want in the future?
It's so interesting growing up with an entrepreneur as a parent. There's a lot of things that they're going to do that you're going to say, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with that," right? Because you see how it stresses them out or how the reward doesn't seemingly link to, everything that they're going through on a day-to-day basis. But this was the first thing that my father did, growing up that I looked at and said, I want to learn more about that. That looks really interesting. And you don't seem very stressed and you're taking us on nicer and nicer vacations. What's going on here?
That'll do it.
And so it was the first thing that really like clicked that for me. So I do think, as a parent, not saying like don't be stressed in front of your kids, but like when you finally have that investment that they can see with their own two eyes, okay, mommy is doing really good with this. And she still has time to play with me or is not like freaking out every time the phone rings. That matters. They are watching that. And if you are hoping that they want to join into a business that you own that you're not happy in, they're probably not going to. So there's a little bit of it's got to be natural to it.
Exactly.
Um, but then I also think like right now I incorporate my son in almost everything that we do. I bring him to a lot of our events. I bring him to our care homes. I want him to see and know and understand this industry. Whether he wants to take it over or not is up to him in the future.
How old is he?
He's only 2.5. So very, very little, right?
No,
But
but they pick up on a lot.
yeah, and
They
I
pick up
and I
on it.
want him to be comfy in these environments, like, I bring him up on stage with me, and he's not scared of
I love
speaking, and
that.
so,
That's awesome.
I
That's
bring him
great.
around the seniors, I want him to see this stuff and also know that I'm working hard, but if he doesn't wanna, take it over, that's fine. The key for me was when my dad passed very suddenly, and,
I'm
all
sorry.
of his businesses thank you, all of his businesses transferred to us, overnight. And because they were set up so systemically, so hands off and passively, they could survive from generation to generation. That's not how most businesses are set up. That's why they fail that generation jump because they're set up on handshake deals, they're set up on good favors and goodwill. And that will not work when you're
No,
trying to generationally transfer a business. You have to systemize your stuff. And so, if you got anything from this episode, take whatever business you're in and make sure it is clean, it is neat, and that in a second's notice, it could transfer. Because we all hope to have the conversation and the true pass off. But the reality is, most of us won't get that chance. So, you need to be ready at the drop of the hat that it's going to the next gen and that they need to know what they can do with it and how they should handle situations.
I love that. That's great advice. Having all the systems ready, let it run by itself.
Yep.
A nice oil machine running by itself is huge. Okay. And then the final question, you kind of touched on it right now, scaling with systems. You're a master of systems. This is what you're a master at. What are the big three systems
Mm.
women need to have a place before she opens her door to ensure she's running a business, not a job?
Mm.
Beyond these big three.
Okay, so I would say that staffing is in any business, but especially in assisted living, is going to be your number one thing that you need systems around. Because if you are not going to be in this home, someone else is the face of this home, someone else is kind of running the day to day. They need to be representing your core value and your culture 24/7. And that's how you can control and maintain while you are more passive and away. So, training, onboarding, retaining. We're doing constant training in our homes and constant investments in our staff. This isn't just, I bring you cupcakes on your birthday. This is like every day I'm giving you like little bits of something, little love, little training, little here and there. And honestly, staffing, people forget when they run a business, they think they're at the top and they're the boss and they're so cool. No, treat people like humans. Being a leader is a privilege. And if anything, it should mean that you are putting on your servant's cap. Leadership should equivalent to servanthood, not I'm the boss, I'm in charge, right?
So
So
true. That is so true.
it's major. So I think staffing's a big one. I think when it comes to systems, you need everything documented. Like I know that's hard for a lot of us entrepreneurial women. We're not always in the weeds on everything, but you have to have stuff written down so people can refer back to it. Nowadays, you need videos, you need short form, long form, you need it all to explain to people how and what to do. Don't think that any one step is too small to over explain it all, right? Then I
Excellent.
think these days, probably the third system I'd say is just now, because AI and tech is so incredible. If there is anything that's being done repetitively, learn how to automate stuff. Not say take the human out of everything, but free up the human to go do the things that only the human can do. Only the human can care for the seniors. So why am I having them do repetitive paperwork or this or that? Let's offload that. Let's get that automated so you can go do the thing that I actually want to pay you to do.
Yeah, and that's what the seniors need the most, actual contact, actual connection with another human.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add? I could ask you a lot of questions. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
From your academy, when once it gets, how long is it, first of all?
Three
Your
days in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, you have to go in person. It's not online.
It's in person. Yep.
Oh, wow. Can you give us a bird's eye view of what it entails?
Sure. So 3 days in Phoenix, we're going through how to find the first home or land, right? Very specifically, how to fund the entire project, and then how to fill the home, whether it's with staff or with seniors. We're touching on how to do this remotely, memory care, AI. I mean, you name it. There is everything we cover under the sun, A to Z, on really how to get your care home up and running successful.
Very well. 3 days. Once they graduate or get their certificate, how many of them go through it and actually do it? How many ladies do you see, or how many of your students do you see them go through? And how long do they stay in the business? You,
So we haven't really had, as far as how long, I would say we haven't really had many people exit. If they do exit, it's for, death, divorce, whatever reason, and then they're traditionally selling, making a profit on that business they just created. So I still consider that a win because they still came up, with a couple million in their pocket, which is nice. But as far as success, because we do coaching and mentoring after our 3 day training, that's who I really stay in touch with. So the thousands of people who've been through the training over the last 13 years, I don't have a super accurate pulse on every single one of them, but
right.
the handful who we do work with after class, I would say 100% of those who choose to move forward and choose to do this business are successful. It's up to you. It's always a
Yeah,
choice, right? You
exactly.
can sign up for anything under the sun. Signing up for a gym membership doesn't give you abs. Going and putting in the work every day does.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate your time and thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add to everything that you do. I appreciate everything you do.
Thanks for the opportunity. It was awesome to chat with you all. And if anybody wants more info, you can check out ral101.com. I'd love to connect with you there.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Isabel. It was great chatting with you, and hopefully I get to go and learn more because, like you said, it's growing.
Yep.
There's more needs, and I think that would be a great investment opportunity for our
Amazing. Well,
ladies.
thanks for having me on.
We'll talk soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Ladies, don't let your wealth building journey stop here. Make sure you hit the follow so you never miss an episode. Download your exclusive SisterLand Investors blueprint in the show notes below. And if you're ready to truly master your financial future, join our apprenticeship today. Let's build an empire of wealth together.